Hello, Richard Matthews here again, and this is going to be the first video in this informal video series I'm doing on photography. Now, what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you a cute little picture I have of my daughter from about a year ago and show you how to do some really cool edits to it to really bring out and evoke some emotion, do some selective coloring. And we're going to do it all from my phone. So I've got my iPhone hooked up here, and I'm going to be using the pencil from Paper 53, pretty cool. Little stylus for doing some painting. So pretty simple stuff, and hopefully you will learn something about how you can take some simple snapshots you have of maybe of your kids and how you can drastically improve them. So over here I'm going to actually show you, this is the picture we're working with, and it's a picture I shot in a park with my daughter and my family last year. She's 2 now, but anyways, she thought it was really cute that one of my nephews who was taking a picture had his leg up there, so she went up to the tree afterwards and put her leg up on it and was just being super cute. Thought it was really funny. So I snapped this picture of her. Wasn't even intending to get a picture of her that day, so it's just a snapshot taken with my camera there. And there are a couple of problems with this image as it stands. One, the composition is kind of sad. She's right in the center. There's a lot of dead space around her over here. There's not a lot of good contrast in the picture, so you can see her coloring is a little muted. And all this is fine for a good snapshot uploading to Facebook. That's great. But if you want to take this and punch it up to the next level and really get some emotion out of it, there's a lot of good data in this picture. And with just maybe 5-10 minutes in a quick edit on your phone, you can take a snapshot like this and make it significantly better. So here is the final result. And as you can see, it really pops. You can see the blue in her eyes, the green in her dress, really high contrast black and white around her. And this is a result of just a few minutes in a photo editing app. So here is a quick side-by-side of the pictures so you can see how how you can really change the image to go from something that looks like it's lacking a little bit of sharpness and doesn't have a real good focal point to being an impressive picture that you might even want to print and put up on your wall. So anyways, for those of you who are photography nuts already, this was shot with a Sony ENIAC-6, a 90mm manual lens, an old one. I don't even know what the manufacturer is. I think it's Nikon or Tiffin or something. It is a ISO 100, shot at 1/100th of a second, and f2.8. I will get into in later videos what some of those things mean, but if you are a photography nut already, that'll give you an idea of what the picture we're working with is, shot in RAW, and just we're going to be working with the JPEG to do the edits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my screen, which should hopefully still be recording, and I am using the app Snapseed. Snapseed is really cool because it allows you to do non-destructive edits on your pictures and brush those edits into certain places, and also it lets you stack those on top of each other and move them around so you can see how each edit works. So here's what we're going to do. I've already opened the image, and you click on the little pencil that's over here on the right, and you can get to all the features that Snapseed has available. This app is free. It's made by Google. Google bought them in 2012, I think, and they've been improving the app ever since. Anyways, really cool. I like it. It's available for Android and for iOS. I'm on my iPhone here. So anyways, the first tool we're going to use is Tune Image. I always start here. And the first thing I do is I hit the little brightness, or not the brightness, the little magic wand thing, and start off with that. And then I hop in, and if you drag your finger vertical on the screen, you get access to all the little things that are on here. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pump the ambience up on this picture up to 25 or so, and that's going to add some brightness to the overall image. And you can see when you hit the little button what you're doing in the upper right. And you can sort of see on and off, that we've started to improve the image a little bit. So next I'm going to go to contrast. Contrast seems good. Saturation, I'm going to bump that up just a little bit. Then I'm going to go down to shadows. Shadows looks good. Maybe bump it up a little bit more. And that's going to affect the dark areas of the image and make them a little brighter. And then we're going to go down to warmth and add a little bit more warmth to the picture because it's a little cool because it was she was standing in the shade. So anyways, that is the first one in Tune Image. So leave that, hit the little checkbox, and we have our first step. And if you just hold your finger on the image, you can see what we've done. Not a lot so far. So the next thing we're going to do is going to go into their black and white, and I'm going to hit just the black and white filter. I'm going to leave it in neutral like this, and then we're going to go to the brightness, and I'm going to bump the brightness up to about 20. Now you'll see what this has done is we have washed out my daughter, and we have the black and white all around her. So anyways, this is where we're going to start at from here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually brush the black and white off of my daughter, so we just have the black and white on the background. So here's what we're going to do from there. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the little save button. And if you click, I'm sorry, not the save button. Let me back up there for just a second so you can see what I did. You want to hit the this little number 2 here is your edits, and you want to hit the edits thing, and it'll pull up all of your edits. If you click on the black and white one, it'll pop out this little drawer, and you can click the paintbrush and actually paint that in. So here's what I'm going to do. This little button over here that's got the inversion, so I'm going to invert it, and then you can zoom in. This is where I'm going to use the Apple, or not the Apple, the Paper 53 pencil, and you start to just remove the black and white and that filter from your picture. Now I'm going to go ahead and speed up the video so you don't have to watch me do all this brushing, and then I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so as you can see, I took maybe 3 or 4 minutes to brush on that thing, and now if I click the little eyeball off, you can see we have the actual adjustment, and she is not in the color anymore. So I'm going to go back in to this black and white thing, and the next thing I want to do is I want to actually bump up the contrast just a little bit. So we're going to pop that the black and white just a little bit more there, and hit our checkbox, and you can see what our original is and what we're looking at now. So we're getting a lot closer to what our original image was. So the next thing that I want to do, we're going to close out of this and click back on our edits, and I'm going to go into tonal contrast. Tonal contrast is very cool. Lets you do a lot of the you can adjust contrast on very specific parts of the image. I want to bump the midtones, and I'm just going to take them all the way up, because that is going to really make the tree and the leaves and everything pop out of the image, because those are all in the midtones. So check that off, and you can see now we have the tree looking almost like our final product, but those midtones really messed up what my daughter's face and everything looks like. So we want to get that nice dreamy look back on her face, but keep that high contrast for the black and white. So we can go back into that edit thing, click on the tonal contrast and our paintbrush, and I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to invert our selection and turn on our little eyeball, and I'm going to paint out the tonal contrast on my daughter, and I'll speed up the video again for this so you don't have to watch me paint. This one doesn't have to be quite as accurate because it doesn't matter if the tonal contrast is a little low around her. That'll give her a little bit of a glow. So we will just paint roughly. Now you can see we have my daughter looking good there. So the next thing is her face is still a little bit dark. So close out of this, and they have this cool little selective edit thing where I can take the selective edit thing here. We're going to zoom into her face, and I'm going to put a dot on her face, and it just says B. I'm not sure why it says B, but anyways, I can then drag the brightness up just around her face. And I'm going to go all the way up to about halfway, so maybe 53 or 54 like that. And I'm going to move it just a little bit so it's over this part of her head. And you can see, again, what we have done there. Let's zoom out so you can see. And you can see that we have just brightened her up a little bit on her face. Hit the checkbox on that. And then there is a couple more things we want to do. The next one is we want to add some detail to the image. So just do a little bit of sharpening. So there's actually a little button that says detail, and you can vertical go up and down your structure, and your sharpening structure is going to affect all the little fine details on like the leaves and everything like that. And then there's sharpening, which will improve the edge sharpness. So I'm actually going to take the sharpening and just go to about plus 30 or so. And none of this is an exact science. I just eyeball a lot of this stuff and see how it looks. So checkbox that. And what the last thing I want to do is I want to brush that on. I want the sharpness to only apply to the tree and to her. So I can go into my edits again and go to detail and brush and just turn on our little eyeball and brush this onto the tree and onto my daughter. And this again can be rough. So now we have the sharpness on her and on the tree. So it'll give extra sharpness on that. That is a very minor edit. You may not see much on that little detail there. And then the last thing that we want to do before we crop the final image is we want to do a little bit of saturation to really pop the green on her dress. So the last one here is we go in and we hit this brush tool, and they got 4 different tools here. I'm going to use the saturation one, leave it on +10, and then just come in with my eyeball tool here and paint the red mask here onto her dress. Should be fairly simple to accomplish that. And this little paper 53 pencil thingy really helps with doing stuff like this. So highly suggest you have a little stylus of some sort. Turn our eyeball off, and you can see what this tool has done. It's just really popped the green on her dress a little bit. So check that off there. And we have basically our final image at this point. The last thing we have left to do is just crop it. So I'm going to take the original image here, and this is where your rule of thirds plays in really nicely. I'm going to take this third one on the right and put her face right in that, that upper right quadrant there, and hit our checkbox, and we now have our final image in maybe 10 minutes of editing. Now, if you take a look at these, again, I could have just uploaded that photo to Facebook, but then you upload this photo and you have a really nice piece of artwork, which is cool and makes her look really good, and it's going to be a great picture to, just for a memory for me, memory for anyone else who knows my daughter and how cute she was on this day. But anyways, just some basic edits and how you can do things. I really think it is powerful when you can take a little bit of time and take your snapshots and turn them into something that evokes emotion. And this image, the final image here, really does evoke some emotion. And you look at it and you think, wow, that's a really good picture. She's really cute. The details really pop, and it is better in a lot of ways than just the picture that came out of the camera. And as a business owner, one of the things you're looking to do always is to evoke emotion. So taking a little bit of time and a little bit of extra effort in some of the pictures that you are taking and working on evoking emotions with them will really, I think, help you in your business. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you liked it. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I will see you next time.